I get asked this question all the time. Hey, how many languages do you think I can learn at once? And every time I have to smile because I've been there. I remember thinking, why stop at one? I wanted to learn Spanish, Italian, French, Portuguese, all of them. And I thought if I just worked hard enough, I could juggle it. But here's the thing, the more languages I started learning, the more I realized something that no one really tells you. It's not about just time, it's about focus, identity, and emotion. So today we're going deep into that. Not just theory, but real stories. How I actually tried learning multiple languages at once. What went wrong, what worked, and how you can figure out your own language balance. Stick with me till the end, because I'm going to share the exact approach I would take today if I was starting all over. And trust me, it's not what you think. Number 1, the allure of learning many languages. Let's be honest, polyglots look cool, right? You see people switching between 5 different languages on YouTube and it's inspiring. It makes you think maybe I can do that too. That's exactly what happened to me. When I became fluent in Spanish, I felt unstoppable. I thought if I learn one, I can learn 3 more. And honestly, that confidence isn't bad. It's a sign you love languages. But what I didn't understand at the time was that each new language divides your attention. I used to sit there with my French book open, listening to an Italian podcast, replying to a Brazilian friend in Portuguese, all in one evening. I was mixing everything up. My brain was fried and I would go to sleep saying grazie when I meant merci. The motivation was there, but the structure wasn't. Number 2, my first attempt at multilingual learning. So here is how it went down. After getting fluent in Spanish, I wanted to learn Italian and Portuguese at the same time. They looked similar, sounded similar, and I thought to myself it would be efficient, like buy one, get one free kind of thing. At first it worked. The first couple of weeks I was flying through the basics. But then it hit me. I would start confusing everything. I would say eu sono instead of io sono. I would speak Spanish with an Italian accent, Portuguese words with Spanish grammar. And the weirdest part, the more I studied, the less fluent I felt. Because fluency isn't just about knowing words, it's about feeling grounded in the identity of that language. Spanish felt like my confident, fast-talking friend. Italian felt expressive and playful. Portuguese felt musical and emotional. Trying to be all 3 at once, my brain didn't know who it was supposed to be. That's when I realized learning multiple languages is less about memory and more about personality management. Number 3, what the brain can handle. Here's where things get a bit scientific, but in a simple way. Our brain doesn't actually learn languages separately. It builds a big network of meaning, sound, and context. The more similar the languages are, the more overlap there is, and that's where confusion comes in. If you're learning Spanish and Italian, your brain keeps putting their vocabulary in the same drawer. You open it later and it's a mess, amigo, amico, amigo, and you can't remember which is which. But if you're learning 2 different languages like Spanish and Japanese, your brain builds 2 different drawers. That's why it's easier for some people to learn one Romance language and one completely different language at the same time. So the real question isn't how many languages I should learn, it's how many I can keep mentally separate and emotionally connected to. Number 4, emotional connection, the hidden secret. This one no one talks about enough. Every language has its emotional space, a kind of personality slot in your mind. When I was living in Spain, Spanish became part of who I was. It wasn't just words, it was humor, rhythm, identity. Then I moved to Italy for a while and suddenly Italian felt another part of me, this expressive, warm, passionate side. When I tried juggling both actively, it was like trying to live 2 lives in one day. My emotions didn't switch fast enough. So I started giving each language its own season. One season I would live mostly in Spanish, watch shows, talk to people, dream in it. Next season, I would give Italian the stage. That's how I learned to love each language individually instead of fighting to keep them all alive at once. Number 5. The Plateau Problem. Here is another trap people fall into, the plateau. When you study too many languages at once, you stay in what I call the intermediate fog. You know a bit of everything, but you're fluent in nothing. That's what happened to me around the time I was learning French. I could introduce myself, talk about food, order a coffee, but not actually hold a real conversation. And that was frustrating because I was spending so much time learning, but not going deep enough to make a real progress. That's when I decided I would rather be fluent in 1 than okay in 4. Once I made that shift, my progress skyrocketed. Number 6. My rule of thumb. So here's the rule I use today, and I wish I knew it years ago. If you're a beginner, stick to one language until you reach a comfortable conversational level. Once you can speak, listen, and think in it, then, only then, start another. If you're intermediate or advanced, you can handle 2, but only if they are different enough. For example, Spanish and Japanese, or French and Arabic. Never too close cousins like Italian and Portuguese unless you enjoy confusion. If you want to maintain several languages, create a rotation, a schedule. Do not try to study all of them daily. Instead, leave one language per week. It's all about the rhythm, not multitasking. Number 7. What I would do differently today. If I was starting today, here's what I would do differently. Pick one core language and go all in for at least 6 months. Do not sample too many others. It's tempting, but it slows you down. When curiosity strikes, just listen to the new language, music, podcasts, without pressure. Once your first language feels natural, then explore a new one intentionally. Languages are like relationships. If you try to date 3 at once, you won't build anything deep. But if you really connect with one, the next one comes easier because you have learned how to learn. Number 8. Final thoughts, the big picture. At the end of the day, there is no magic number. Some people thrive juggling multiple languages, others need to focus on one at a time. But if there is one lesson I've learned after years of language learning, it's this. Do not measure your progress by quantity. Measure it by connection. It's better to have one language that opens your world than 5 that you can barely hold on to. So, however many you're learning, give them your heart, your time, and your consistency. Because languages aren't trophies to collect. They are people, places, and experiences you get to live through.